and gentlemen, boys and girls, this the news bit presented to you by Ladies Like and Jess Sentino. Follow the beat from the studio to the street. Info with the flow, keeps you sharp and in the know. Sit back, relax, enjoy the news. Follow. Our culture is a big part of our history, and when our cultural heritage is destroyed, it should be considered a crime against humanity. Meaning, culture preservation must be a priority for every country. History was made last week regarding culture preservation when Ahmad Al-Faqih Al-Mahdi was judged in Mali for his destruction. He was sentenced to 9 years in jail after attacking Timbuktu, destroying 9 mausoleums and destroying them through.
Mahdi was part of the Traj insurgents, creating a havoc all throughout northern Mali. He destroyed shrines dating from the 16th century, including the first African university.
The jihadists led by Mahdi were fighting an old type of Islam, influenced by Sufism that never did any harm.
But in the city known as the City of 33 Saints, the Al-Qaeda-backed terror became known as an evil wave, after being charged of his crimes, and others might face the same fate in time.
From Syria to Iraq and Afghanistan, one's heritage are getting destroyed, but luckily for the future generations, they are now being brought to court.
The Democratic Republic of Congo has never had a peaceful transfer of power since its independence. And this year's general elections, scheduled for November, have already been marred by pre-election violence. As a result of the country's electoral commission filing for a delay in the elections, saying that the voter registration lists were not ready, which was perceived as deception. Thousands took the streets in Kinshasa in reaction to the announcement, which they called a ploy by President Joseph Kabila to cling to power beyond his mandate. Consequently, several shops and police stations were looted and burnt to ashes, and at least 6 police officers were killed in the process. The opposition party headquarters were also touched in retaliation to the protests, and after 2 days of chaos and street clashes, almost 50 protesters had been killed by the government security forces. There have been concerns from the West, the African Union and the United Nations, and appeals for President Kabila to respect the constitution and announce that he will not run for president again to calm down the escalating tension. As many citizens believe that Kabila is trying to maneuver his way into the 3rd term, like several of his regional counterparts have done. And although he has pardoned some of the political prisoners to resolve the escalating crisis, the president's rivals continue to be targeted by the police authorities. However, lifting the 2-term presidential limit is unpopular at the moment, and Kabila might struggle to get a 2/3 majority in the parliament required for constitutional amendment. But the West also has limited influence over Kabila and might not interfere with the process, because they are still dependent on Congo's natural resources. On the other hand, Congo's Electoral Commission says that it needs until July 2017 to get more than 30 million voters to register in a vast country which has one of the world's worst transport and communication infrastructure. Dangote is getting richer each and every day. Our reporter MC Loy is here with an insightful report.
The Dangote Group is West Africa's largest industrial conglomerate and controls over 13 companies with various investments. The Lagos-based company operates in 13 African countries, where it is now fully established and is the only Nigerian company on the Forbes Global 2000 companies list. The company was founded by Aliko Dangote in 1977 after acquiring a 500,000 naira loan from his uncle, Sani Dangote, who was also his boss. Then Aliko Dangote started his business by importing commodities into Nigeria like textiles, rice, millet, cotton, vegetable oil and sugar. Dangote got his breakthrough when he landed a license to import cement, along with a number of other business licenses from Nigerian government. He developed a distribution network which was more effective than that of his competitors. But after a spell, he evolved from importer to manufacturer. 70% of Nigeria's sugar now comes from Dangote's refinery, and he is the main supplier to the country's soft drink companies, confectionaries and breweries. The sugar refinery is the largest in Africa and 3rd largest globally. On top of food processing, freight and cement manufacturing, the Dangote Group has also invested heavily in transportation, oil and gas, real estate and banking. Dangote has also moved into Nigeria's telecommunication industry and is already building 14,000 kilometers of fiber optics to supply the whole country. English Premier League club Arsenal is now the next item on Dangote's list, as the self-confessed Arsenal fan since 1990 renewed his interest in acquiring the soccer outfit. Although Aliko Dangote is now the richest person of African descent, when it comes to business and wealth, his family members have always been prominent, as his great-granddad Alhaji Al-Hassan Dantata was also once the richest man on the African continent. I'm MC Loy, reporting for Newsbeat.
Thank you, MC Loy, for that report. of the revolution. Samuel Mugalula, a third-year student in chemistry, and his latest invention has attracted praise from the military. He invented a new type of tear gas, one that is less toxic and is made out of ingredients that everybody has, with sugar, salt and food color. It's a less harmful gas. Tear gas of police can cause health complications, but this has changed with this new Mugalula's invention. The University Hall residents also says he makes smoke bombs, but hasn't developed them yet because of lack of funds. His dream is to bring nuclear energy to Uganda, like Russia or Korea. He says the future of the country could be nuclear, but the government must help him if he is to go far. Makerere has had many inventions, from Kira EV to Kayola bus, all are good for the nation. But apparently, the student has recently been arrested by police for messing around with dangerous explosives. That was the news on the beat. Next week will be another hit. Still ladies like I'm Jay Sentino, reporting live and direct with love and respect. Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Yes, follow the beat.
Follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat, follow the beat.
Yes, follow the beat.